What's going on, guys? It's your boy Anthony alongside the best, and I mean the best,
Oh,
Big 3 account in the universe, Big 3 News, back with another edition of the Fourth Man. And we are super static, super pumped because of all the recent news coming out within the Big 3. We're going to get all into it. But first off, how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing fantastic. Like you said, it's been a pretty busy 2 weeks. I know we didn't, we didn't do one last week, but we got a ton to touch on, and we got a pretty cool interview coming up. So this is going to be a packed show. So I'm super excited to get down into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this the most active that the Big 3 News account has been as of late? I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
for a
within the past
while.
year.
Yeah,
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 because of everything
probably.
going
Yeah,
on.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say probably the most active that we've been. You just want to talk about last year was probably the TBT when you had Dante Green playing
Sure.
and then Joe Johnson on Overseas Elite. And then I want to feel like there was
And all the
one more
all the other
team.
guys that were supposed to play in the
Right.
TBT
Yep.
there.
100%. So we were thinking maybe uh, we were going to get a couple teams made up of Big 3 guys as my dog begins to bark. But
He's excited for Big 3.
she is very excited for
Oh,
Big 3. Yes. She's very particular about that. But So right now we have Joe Johnson in the Americup. He
Yeah.
as recording this, he's just defeated Mychel Thompson in the Bahamas, which is a phrase I don't know I didn't think I'd ever say, but it's basically sort of it's a revenge. It's triplets revenge on Power.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna get all into that, Americup, the Big 3 News, and everything else. But first, want to talk about the show. If you want to find the show on any social media or our personal accounts, as always, it's at Fourth Man Pod, at Big 3 News, and at A_Siggy. If you want to watch the show instead of listening to the show, you can find us on youtube.com/Fourth Man Pod. And for those of you tuning in on Saturday on the Nothing But Net channel through Dash Radio, we appreciate you guys as always, whether
Always
you're a first
appreciate our
time.
Dash fam.
Absolutely. Whether you're listening for the first time, which I think every time I say this, it resonates more. But whether you're listening for the first time, I think this is
Or
the
the last time.
perfect time to listen to. Not the last time. Or you're a continued listener. We appreciate the support as always. And like Will said, we have a great show with a great interview on the back end here. But let's touch on some of the Big 3 stuff first, because obviously seems like things are ramping up over there with the Big 3. They just hired a new CEO. They have the hashtag going that Big 3 is back, releasing the video they originally released back at the beginning of 2020 when they were announcing the new rule changes heading into season 4. But let's talk about our new CEO, Chris Hannon. He has worked everywhere from Fox to his most recent job with Hemp Hydrate as a CMO, where he had really built the company up through some of his strategies. Well, we've talked about this off the podcast a little bit, how we think this is a great strategy to go after someone with a ton of marketing experience, especially after a season where, it was postponed because of COVID and everything. But when you first saw that he was a CMO and you first heard about the hiring, what were you thinking?
I was so relieved, that we were finally getting this. Anthony
Good way
and
to
I,
put it.
we have obviously we talk a lot of Big 3 on this podcast, but we also talk a lot off this podcast. And one of the things that Anthony and I always said to each other is like, who is in the leadership position? Is it Cube? Is it Jeff Quatnitz? Because they're busy people. They're always off. I don't want to say they're off doing their own thing because, it's what made them this successful. But, Ice Cube was releasing music. He just has his cannabis company. Jeff Quatnitz is one of the lawyers against Robin Hood, so like,
They have a lot going on.
I knew they have a ton going on. And so I always say to Anthony, I'm like, who's the Big 3 guy? Like, who's the guy that wakes up and is like, I'm trying to make the Big 3 work? And, I think it's Mike told us it's, Justin Williams. It's, it's Thomas Scott, it's a lot of people, but now there's a new CEO, there's a new captain of the ship. And I think it could come at a time they could definitely use it because it's a critical season for their success. They got to nail this. And so, I'm excited for him. I think he has a strong background. And like you said, I think, he is, he comes from a unique situation, but it's a unique league. So I'm very excited to learn more about him and see sort of the style and the direction he's going to take this league. But I'm hopeful, now that we can sort of put a face and a name to who is making these critical decisions. And, I know for a while it was Amy Trask, and then she moved on to chairman of the board, and she, in my opinion, has done a phenomenal job
100%.
thus far. But now it's now we're gonna see what happens moving forward. So I'm just excited. I'm just happy that we're finally getting some news. You could see that, okay, like there's
Yes.
movement.
The
There's signs of
traction is there.
life.
Yes,
There's signs of
absolutely.
life. It's just so happy. I know, I'm sure there was always stuff going on behind the scenes, but it was never made public. It was never really talked about. So I'm really just happy that this was sort of just a public, and it's a big move. It's
Yeah.
almost,
I mean, this is someone who is
yeah,
essentially gonna, run the. I mean, this is probably the most unique experience. I think that was well worded in the sense, unique background coming into an experience like no other. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of leagues that took off because of COVID outside of
no,
March Madness, and they, we obviously know the credibility they have and the longstanding they have within fans. So now Chris Hannon's going to come in here and kind of not only work with a league that's been delayed for a year, postponed for a year, but also work within a league that was promoting all these new rule changes, right?
hmm
They had all these exciting things going on. They were rebranding to a Fireball 3 league.
yeah,
And essentially, it's about putting that back on the map. How can we create that excitement coming out of season 3 with a year gap in between? And so that's why I was so intrigued by the CMO aspect of someone who has clearly built hemp hydrate to an extent or put them on the map and made them a little bit more well known, has a long-standing background within major media networks, so he understands how things work and how things are operated and what it takes to get some viewership. And I think that's the part that is the most exciting, outside of just the traction that we now have with the big three and them promoting someone to wake up and be that guy where he says, okay, what do I need to do today in order for the big three to have success and for us to move in the direction we need to in order for the 2021 season to get going?
yeah, definitely. And I think we're already starting to see that. The this whole hashtag Big 3 is back. They've
Mm-hmm.
sort of they released all of the they released the rule sets, which Anthony and I were trying to figure out if that was the original video or if that was a new video. It did kind of look new to me,
Yeah, I
especially
think.
towards the end. But they're still only using season 3 highlights, which I
Mhm.
think Anthony and I disagree on this. I think it has to do with like ownership rights. Anthony thinks they're just more
I think it has more to
promoting
do with, yeah, just
like
like
recency.
one of those
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
strategies.
Yeah,
But
so that'd be an interesting question to get an answer to. I'm not really too sure. But yeah, so I think they're just getting people familiar with who they are,
mhm.
right? Like, all right, this is the Big 3. This is what we're about. This is who's played for us, because you have to remember, right? Like we know, and if you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening to a Big 3 podcast when there haven't been Big 3 games in a year, I'm assuming that you're pretty dug in at this point. So, we all know the story at this point, but now it's up to, getting people who maybe were on the fence or left back and
Mhm.
attracting new people. So that
Yes.
starts, and very strategically smart and sound what they did is by, all right, they're going to reintroduce themselves. I'm the Big 3. This is what I'm about. These are our rules. Get people familiar with it. And that to me
Yeah.
is just an anticipation of the next announcement, which is going to be, this is when we're playing and this is who's going to be in the league.
Yeah. And I mean, what better content to use than the content from your most successful season, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, season 3 was just, you get a host of big names that, Joe Johnson obviously is the big one, but even the guys like Gilbert Arenas, that was another big one. You add 4 new teams within that season. Uh, we have a great matchup within the reigning champs and then now the defending champs within Power and Triplets, in the sense that Power is the only team that's ever beaten Triplets. So all these great things within season 3. And now, like you said, reintroducing some aspects of what they were going to introduce, who we are, what we're trying to become, and what we've accomplished up to this point that you missed out on and why you need to go back and see some of these things. So I really think a lot of that had to do with marketing strategy. It could be Fox rights, who knows? But at the end of the day, we've talked about this a million times. There's still a contract on the table for their TV network on CBS and CBS Sports and everything. And ultimately, I think they're kind of going from here. Okay, what's happened in the past was great. We did a lot of good things, but we need to progress forward because of this gap. We don't want anyone to remember the gap. We want everyone to remember
Right.
we had a good first 3 seasons, and we're going to continue to have a great 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on season. So bringing Chris Hannon in. They got the hashtag Big3s back, and using a lot of great content from within season 3. So a lot of big news. I think, like you said, the next thing is where's this going to be played? Is it going to be in a bubble setting? Where's the schedule? Who are the big names that are coming back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's key, and I think you hit on it. And, one of the interesting things that I took away from that, the CEO announcement, is they released, obviously, the press release, and they said a lot of things. And one of the things that Cube said is that they've taken this year to reflect and examine. I'm misquoting him, but, they examine every aspect of the league and they've made it better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious as to what that entails.
Yeah. And it's encouraging that, Cube and I'm assuming Jeff Quanowitz it was still a focus. They were still, probably meeting up or talking on the phone, like, what do we need to do this and there. So it's encouraging that it was still somewhere in their brain with all the other multitude of things that they have going on.
No, definitely. No, for sure. Because, like we said, they're all the different stuff that they have going on. So, I don't expect them to be thinking about the big 3 24/7, but I do expect there to be some people or a team of people whose, number one priority is this league. And it sounds like they have some people who, or at least they're building a team of people who are going to, get us right for 2021. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll continue to update you guys as the Big 3 continues to make things public. Until then, we'll continue to find our guys playing in other leagues like we've been doing for the past 2 years. And a familiar face that continues to play in any league and every league, it seems like, for the therapeutic aspect of basketball. And that's Joe Marcus Johnson, apparently, according to the American.
Is that his middle name?
Apparently, I don't know why they're throwing out all the middle names on Americup on their website, on their Instagram, but everyone's middle name is like being thrown out there.
Let me maybe give an answer to that.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in Latin American cultures, aren't some, you're referred to by your middle name? Isn't the middle name the name you're referred to?
Maybe so in Latin America. I know in like European culture, they usually have like a couple last names. So I don't know I guess they're in Puerto Rico, so it'd be more on the Latin America side. But
I think Americup is like, it's like North America and South America, or North America and Central America. That's what we see in the Puerto Ricos, the Bahamas. So
Mexico, yeah, right.
The Mexico and Canada, it's almost like CONCACAF. But so that's what I think. Maybe it's like maybe in some cultures he's Marcus Johnson.
Maybe so.
He's a whole other dude. Yeah.
Well, we know him as ISO Joe, and right now, or I should say, just finishing up, they were playing in their first game of the Americup Qualifiers for 2022, and it was the USA versus the Bahamas, and a familiar face he was going against. I should say a familiar faces alongside of him with Isaiah Thomas and some other NBA vets that have played as recently as this year, going up against a familiar face in the Big 3, and that's Mychel Thompson, brother of Klay Thompson, but also a member of Power last year with, a team, like I mentioned before, the only team to beat triplets. He was a part of that Power team that actually knocked off the champions, the sole people to knock off the champions. Looks like Joe got his revenge.
He did.
I guess Americup named him the MVP of the game, but he finished with 11 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. So it looks like he was flirting with the triple-double, doing a little bit of everything. But the best result out of that is a USA won 83-70.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty dominant performance.
I misquoted. That was a different game.
Oh.
The USA.
I thought they put up like 99.
Yes, 99-59. It was a very dominant performance.
It was I was going to say, I didn't know the score off the top of my head, but I remember looking at it. I mean, Mychel Thompson obviously is a good player. He's a G League caliber guy. He didn't really make the impact I think that we expected him to on Power, but I also don't want to judge him off of his brother and his father,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, listen, that Team USA, I mean, you have Isaiah Thomas, you have Joe Johnson, you have, a lot of guys on that roster. So, I think, it's going to be like Olympic ball a little bit. The team that really is going to be interesting to see is Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And before I move too far on, I'm getting my scores all mixed up because I was on their website, but the score was 93-77. Joe with those same stats. Mychel Thompson looks like he started the game. It looks like we saw a little action between them going head to head against each other. But Mychel Thompson, he looks like he started, only finished with 15 minutes, had 3 shots, didn't make any, and finished with a rebound. So looks like limited opportunities within there. But nonetheless, a dominant performance and fun to see two big three guys not only just like represent their countries, but going at it again.
Absolutely, and triplets gets their long-awaited revenge.
Yeah, in a weird way, yes, they get some
way.
kind of satisfaction, but Joe is going to make it happen somehow as the captain of that team. But you're right, Puerto Rico's an interesting team with the dynamic they have going on.
Yeah, I mean, you have Shabazz Napier, you have JJ Barea, you have a big three name in Carlos Arroyo as a coach and as sort of an assistant there. We know he's very involved in the Puerto Rico program, so they're a team that honestly, they look good out the gate. I think when you have guys, when you have NBA All-Stars on one team, it's hard to root against them.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw what happened in the Olympics, or not the Olympics, the World Cup. That was all NBA stars and All-Stars and some, a couple max contract guys, and they didn't even win. But luckily there's no France in this tournament, so I think we should be all right. There's no Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I feel like with America, there's so many interchangeable guys coming in and out just because of the amount of talent that America has. And then obviously with the NBA season coinciding at points. So I feel like the best advantage every other team has usually is chemistry, right? They play with each other. They're always talking with each other. So it's an interesting dynamic. I feel like with Puerto Rico being the hometown team and then also having what seems like a pretty tight-knit group, it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. And if Puerto Rico, USA play together, what the matchup will look like. But
absolutely,
nonetheless, we got to root on our guy Joe, and also root on Mychel Thompson, Carlos Arroyo as well, and just see how it plays out and everything. But fun to see some of those big three guys in there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're obviously going to go in and root for Team USA if you're American,
right? Absolutely.
So the fact that our guy Joe Johnson's on there just makes it that much more interesting.
100%. So, and we know, from other podcasts and what he said, and clearly just his Instagram, that Joe looks like he's prepared to come down to the big three. So,
oh my God. I mean, you see those pictures he was posting of himself?
I know.
Oh my, that man is in incredible shape.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to have any trouble getting in shape. Like he always says, never have to get in shape if you stay in shape. So
that's true.
Well, we'll see how all that plays out, but excited to hear that the big three is finally making some traction. We'll continue to update you guys, and that's pretty much it for the news side of things. Like we said, we have a great interview on the back half with two young budding stars and the Next Network. They are about 30,000 followers on TikTok, aspiring sportscasters. And this is let me just reiterate this. This is for the audio version, it's going to be condensed. You can see the whole interview on YouTube if you want to watch the show. It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, let's be, honest here. So this was an incredibly entertaining interview. We really didn't know what to expect going into it, but it was off the walls a little bit, just a little off the walls in the best way possible, but it was off the walls. So, we recognize that for people listening audio, it may not always be the easiest to follow just because there was a lot of, talking and noise going on. So if you are interested in the interview audio form, we're going to have it for you and we're going to chop it up and do what we got to do so that it's more, easier to follow along on audio. But if you are interested in the full thing, I think it's a very entertaining, just to see our facial expressions and like some of the stuff.
You'll get a good laugh
background. You're definitely going to get a good laugh about it. I mean, Anthony and I were there the whole time, so we're going to have the unedited full thing on YouTube. So go to our YouTube to check that out. If you're already there, just hang out. We'll have that to you shortly. But for everybody else, we appreciate everybody who's listened this far, and we look forward to the news to come. It's only going to be more and more bigger announcements, so we're excited for it. And for the first reactions and the most knowledgeable opinions and most experienced big three, information. We appreciate you guys coming to us, and if this is your first time listening, we hope that you stick around.
100%. Couldn't have said it better. Yes, we continue to look for your feedback and try to find ways to fix the show or continue to make the show better, I should say. But we appreciate everyone who's tuned in, continue to follow us, and we're excited for what lies ahead in 2021. For now, let's get to the guys over at the Next Network. Okay, today on the show, we got a couple of, I want to say, potential TikTok stars here. They're really growing on TikTok and really changing kind of the fan account, sports media type of accounts in the TikTok game. You got Josh and Mychel on from the Next Network. Got about 30,000 followers now on TikTok. They put a lot of great content out through the football season and the basketball season. So excited to have you guys on and appreciate you guys, taking the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. So let's start here. When did you guys start the TikTok accounts, and did you initially set out to make it like a sports account, or did you guys just have like a couple of personal accounts and combine them? How did that work out?
So we'll start off with kind of how this whole thing started with the Next and all of that. Well, originally this was a 3-man show with a kid who left us over the summer, but we started this thing and this show on this website called Sportscaster. There are a lot of us. We were the biggest one. We've blown up the most, but there's a community of us that pay attention to them because they're getting there too. But
they were like on the website that we use,
yeah,
sportscaster.com.
They're kind of following what we did because they saw what happened for us. They're gonna go on. They went over TikTok and they're gonna start to get bigger, and that's pretty cool. But we started doing this, and after a few months, we had some success. I mean, in terms of interviews, we had a ton of interviews. Like we booked a ton of interviews, but in terms of the viewership, really wasn't there that much until
we got big on TikTok.
Until we got big on TikTok. we had the show before we had the show. Then we got TikTok over the summer. Right, it became me and Mychel. We decided to make a bunch of changes. One of the things we changed was let's make a social media. Let's try and grow this thing.
So originally, actually, I did have the Next TikTok, but it had, I don't even think it had 2 videos. What? Yeah. Well, so I think you guys logged into that, and that's kind of how we started. We just started. For the first few videos were like we did daily trivia, and then it kind of just took off from there. We were just doing it daily. Josh was more active on it than me, and then we started posting clips when sports came back of our broadcast because we do the Twitch broadcasts.
There was Auburn,
sports.
Alabama. The Iron Bowl.
Called that game.
Devontae Smith got a long touchdown, and right before it, on the stream, I said they're saying something up here. They're gonna go deep. Literally the following play, they threw like a 50-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith.
Right.
And
so
we posted that clip, and that was the first clip that got a lot of views.
Oh wow.
That had over 100,000.
And yeah, after that, me and Mychel, we both said, okay, let's do this. Let's see what we can do.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Eventually, we Celtics Bucks. It was the second day of the NBA season. It was one of the first games. It was opening day for the Celtics and the Bucks. Opening day for everyone in the NBA except for the 4 teams that played on the first day. Yeah. And I'm not sure if you guys remember the game. We were watching the game. Jason Tatum hit that big step back 3 with Antetokounmpo in his face. So he posted that, and that is really where our account took off. It had like 450,000 views. We had like 6 verified creators comment on it. Hoops Nation, the Magic guy, Sean Does Magic, and then we had Omar from ESPN.
Oh, way.
Nice.
Omar commented it.
Well, yeah, he requested to use it.
He requested to use it, right?
And then he never did.
Yeah, we never got on SportsCenter. So it would have been bigger.
We got the comment. It was like, "Hi, I'm Omar." It's like that little like.
The ESPN would like to
send. It's like, can we use it? We're like, yeah, use it.
Use it. Go ahead. But we got acknowledged by ESPN. So that was still pretty cool. We've been growing since then. We just kind of keep it consistent now. I had a video last week that got almost 400,000 views also. So
okay,
nice.
Flex.
Yeah.
So flex on us because we clearly can't figure it out. So Sportscaster wasn't worked out because I'm pretty familiar with that too. Something that was, I think, fun to use and you could really interact with a lot of people. But it was kind of hard to figure out. So you made the transition to TikTok. So would you say that
unfortunately that website is shutting down? But
I know. Rest in peace to Sportscaster because
it was good. That's how I got my start in like doing all this, like with the practice. Me and Josh both want to be like professional commentators.
Okay.
Sports broadcasters when we get older. So that's what we do on Twitch. I do the play-by-play, so I describe what happens, and then Josh is like the color analyst. So he's the one that also describes what happens, but after the play, analyzes.
You're Tony Romo. He's
right. Jim
Gotcha.
Right.
Jim Nance.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Yeah. To put it into real play-by-play color guy terms, yes. But I was actually doing TikTok since December of 2019. I posted my first video, but I didn't have too many videos, but I did have a personal account where I just posted some sports videos, but they weren't too many of them. It wasn't until like the next where I really, joined in, and that's when the TikTok thing really happened. I didn't think I was gonna ever get big on TikTok, and like when I say I mean not we, because when I before the next, like when it was just me, just
You
Josh,
just made TikToks for fun.
right. I just made TikToks for fun, right? I just made a few, and then the next, and then we all, or me and Josh, then we both started making TikToks, and we got big. So
Nice. And where did the name Next come from? Is that something that you guys started on Sportscaster and then it just transitioned over to TikTok, or is that something where you started on TikTok and I don't?
Well,
Sportscaster gave us the logo, but not the name. Josh, you have the story about the name because
so
Josh came up with it.
And Luke, the other kid that was on here until summertime, we were thinking, what should we name this thing? And we were just like, okay, it's 3 young sports broadcasters. Something kind of like, all right, well, we all want to do it. We want to be kind of like the future. He said, how about like something like the future? I said, I like that, but let's think of something else. And then I just thought of, how about the next?
The next, yeah.
And
turns out pretty well.
I absolutely really like that. You guys, so I want to get this straight. So the long-term goal here isn't to be, get a hype house, be TikTok stars. You guys want to be sports commentators. Where did this dream, where did this ambition come from? Was it a specific sport, a specific individual that you like listening to? Who, where did this manifest?
So, if you don't mind, Josh, if I start, I have been going to a camp now for a few years. I think I just went this past summer, virtual camp they had for like my 3rd or 4th year. It's called play-by-play camps. It pretty much gets you into it. It's for aspiring sportscasters that want to get into that field and do it. So they pretty much introduce you to how it works. They let you like practice it. They have like professionals speak to you, and they teach you about it, teach you about the whole craft of sportscasting. So that's really where I got my start. I figure, I was 9 years old when I decided I wanted to be a sports commentator. But me, 9-year-old me, and all my years before 9 years old, I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be, police. I'm one of those people that like really wanted to do everything.
You have the headset to be a pilot. So if you do go back to the pilot thing, you can keep the headset.
If I need to, you're right.
Mychel Airlines.
Mersky Air was what I had imagined.
I'm using that. Oh, Mersky Air.
That is what I had imagined to name the name. I had imagined to get so big that I would have my own airline, and it would be called Mersky Air. Yes.
I love the big dreams right off the bat.
Yeah, but that was like young me, and then later, I wanted to be a sports commentator, and as I went to the camp for a few years, and I really got into it, and now my voice got considerably deeper than it was, for example, in the summer. I did, and my voice is still kind of.
You guys think he squeaks now? You guys shut up.
Yeah, you gotta check out the summer. Last year, the last football season, so the one before this one, the one of the Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the Niners. That season, I was calling games on Sportscaster using my phone, and I didn't have too many viewers. I may have had like 30 on a good day. But I would just like put my phone up on like a table and just record that was like a year. That was last year. So 2 years ago. Last year in 20.
Well said, Mychel.
In 2019. Yeah. 2019 in the mid of
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Well, no, not 2 years ago. Technically a year and a half ago. Well,
Pretty
regardless,
here.
Summer of 2019, I went on Sportscaster. I got introduced to Sportscaster through the camp. So the guy that's like been working with us on the next, the guy that provided us with our logo and set us up with the Costas interview is named Nick. He's one of the people, one of like the head people in charge of Sportscaster. So he came to talk to the Baltimore play-by-play camps, and we all got Sportscaster t-shirts. I still have mine.
That's pretty
good. Then we went on the app, and that summer I, was doing it. And then I had this other kid Luke, who also went to the Baltimore camp. He lives in Pennsylvania, but he traveled down to the Baltimore camp. And so me and him were friends now for a few years from the camp. And then Josh, I had a mutual friend with him. And then, he was, on Instagram, he was followed by a lot of my friends. I like to joke he was actually, like last year, he was more popular in my grade than me.
I'm 2 years older, which is what's funny.
And right, he's 2 grades ahead. Right.
Right.
I should probably mention that. Right. So I introduced Josh and Luke. We had the show. And
There's a real chance I was more popular in his grade than I was in my own grade.
I just said that. Yeah.
No, I'm saying in my own grade.
Okay. Never mind that. Yeah. There's a chance that he was popular in my grade. I don't know why, but everyone knew.
Well, it's because I've known those kids.
Right. He's known. So yeah, that's kind of how I took off. I feel like I've been taking too much time, so Josh, you can.
Yeah, I did not go to play camps. I was not any of that. So when I was 10, 2014 NFL season, I started following football a little more, and just after a while, I've gained this knowledge for the game that is a lot, like well said. But after a while, just over the years, people were always telling me, "Hey, you should be a sports announcer. You should be a sports announcer." Okay. So I said, "Okay, let's do it." So I've always been kind of saying I would pursue it, and then in the summer of 2019, I took that step. I decided to make a podcast, The Other Berman Show. Chris Berman, The Other Berman. That's how I thought of it. That's how I thought of the name.
That's great.
I thought it was good. It was mildly successful compared to what we have now. It was not a success at all, but I mean, like it wasn't bad. I mean, we had some viewers. I was able to land a couple interviews. Ravens left guard Bradley Bozeman came on the show a couple times. Fullback Pat Ricard was on the
No way.
Project Pat. He came on.
Okay.
Both of them may or may not be coming on the next at some point soon. We don't know.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe.
We'll preview.
Hopefully. Yeah, and just over time, I met Mychel around that time, like right around when I started.
I'd gone on his show. The first show I went on, it was either June or July 25th. I don't know why I remember that. But 2019.
Probably July because I started
probably July. Yeah, I was on one of his first
your
episodes.
Partnership started out as Mychel being a guest on Josh's show.
No, it was just he came on my show.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say because that's actually how this podcast started.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
So I just came on the show. That's really like where we started to get to know each other, kind of.
Gotcha.
I had appeared 3 or 4 times on a show. I was like the most common guest.
The reason why I was introduced to him to begin with is because he was hyped up as a mini me. What I was told. I was told that he was like a mini me, a kid that knows a lot about sports and wants to do something I want to do. I'm like, oh,
and
cool.
lives in the same,
So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, and that's how I met him.
And there you go.
No,
that's how
it started.
started.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
So when quarantine starts, when the next became a thing.
Right.
Gotcha.
So that was like, we didn't know what to do. It was quarantine. We started a sports show. We somehow managed to go every single day until like sports started to come back. We went every single day.
Didn't miss a single night.
Did not miss a single night. Either one of us, 2 of us, most nights, all 3 of us. Towards, and then obviously it just became me and Josh. But me and Josh only did the next for a few days because then sports came back. We started calling the games. But when we were with Luke, we did it for months. From March
every
the 16th,
single night, 8:30 to 10. We were able to cover an hour and a half about sports that weren't even happening.
Right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And sports weren't even happening. Right. As Joshua said, we were struggling to find topics. That's why we were doing the interviews over the summer. We were mostly doing them, not mostly. We were almost not all of our interviews were with sportscasters who were like big. Bob Costas, who I'm sure you guys probably.
We won a contest to get him.
We won a contest to get him. Iron Eagle from.
I love Iron Eagle.
Yes.
We're working on getting him back.
We're trying to get him back. Iron Eagle.
Yeah.
His
best commentator, my favorite.
His son, Noah, who's the guy that did the Nickelodeon
Noah?
game.
Yes.
Oh, I'm friends with him. I talk to him all the time.
Get
Right.
out of here.
Yeah, the one that did the Nickelodeon
jealous.
game. He's
I'm
also the
jealous
voice. He's the voice of the Clippers, the LA Clippers. And then you have, who else would we do? Andrew
Cynthia
Siciliano,
Freeland,
Matthew
Andrew
Barry,
Siciliano.
Cynthia Freeland,
Man.
Josh. So yeah,
I did a Cynthia Freeland interview because
Right,
you
Josh
guys
did.
both slept in. You
Okay,
guys
okay,
both
fine,
overslept
fine. Okay,
on the interview.
okay.
So I did it all by myself.
No, yeah,
Wait,
that's true.
I want to. So let's talk about this contest. What was this
Yeah.
Bob Costas contest?
So it was a sportscaster one. Oh, did I cut you off?
No, I just want to
No,
know
you're
like what are the other connections within there? So talk about the contest and how you won this contest on Sportscaster. And then did you get the other connections through Bob Costas or through Sportscaster?
No, we got the other connections through LinkedIn. Luke, the other guy that we did it with, is like really good at getting connections somehow.
Clearly.
No way.
Yeah, LinkedIn is how we got most of our guests. The Costas thing. So Sportscaster ran a competition. It was called the Fans Give Back competition, pretty much the reward. So you had to use like a hashtag Fans Give Back on Sportscaster, like when you make your videos. So that month, that was May, and the month of May was like flooded with, I mean, there was probably more broadcast done on Sportscaster than any before. We ended up having the most views under that hashtag than anybody else did under that hashtag. So it raised money, like all the broadcasts or the view, it raised some sort of money for some COVID relief fund. We weren't really, we weren't really aware what it was. As a matter of fact,
The
I
money
didn't
went
realize we
somewhere.
done money.
The
The
money
money
went
went
somewhere
somewhere.
good.
The money
Someone
went
has
somewhere
the
good.
money.
And we feel good about it.
It was for a good cause.
We don't know, but it did something.
You're not
Yes,
asking
it was
questions.
for a good cause for COVID, and we got Bob
Not
Costas.
personal gain
So,
at all. For
I'm not
for
complaining.
COVID relief.
Right.
Well, hold on.
Don't ask
We got
questions.
personal gain from the Costas thing, right? So looking back at it, COVID relief. Okay, we did something for COVID
Next
relief,
relief.
but for us, really, it was for the Costas thing. So that was pretty cool. That's how we got it. Sportscaster. That was through Sportscaster. That was a fun. That was.
Gosh, you must have been killing on there because I know I was on Sportscaster for a little bit and I felt like I was putting out daily content there. I mean, maybe not as long as you guys, but maybe they're like 2 or 3 weeks, like every single day. And I would look at the leaderboards and be like, I'm never going to climb to the top. These guys are putting it out 2 to 3
Like,
times
who is
a day.
the next?
Yeah. Who are these guys at the top?
Makes me feeling better. There were days we did like 2 or 3 streams a day at sometimes. I mean, it wasn't just that we had the most
when were
views,
you-
it was
It's a grind.
Yeah,
when
no.
were you on like sports? Like for me, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'm an editor at Unwrapped Sports, and so Unwrapped was big into trying to get all the creators on Sportscaster. They were teaming up with Sportscaster, doing incentives if you had so many views within the Unwrapped Sports network. So for me too, it was kind of for personal gain. I was just trying to gain the incentive as much as I could, but I don't remember anything about the Costas contest
That was
there.
June.
That was May. June, May. Well,
Okay.
the interview was June. The competition was May. I'll tell you what. So, when were you on sports?
I guess I was on there. I guess around the same time, maybe like January to May
Of
or
2020.
Maybe not. Maybe it was before. Maybe I was in 2019. I can't really remember. Like I was using it pretty sparingly, for a little bit.
I feel like you were big on it 2019 because I
Maybe it
remember
was
you wanted me to
2019.
get on it with you 2019. Maybe we were thinking about doing some Big 3 games, but it never
Maybe it
really
was
came to
2019.
fruition. Yeah.
I could tell you this.
Richard
so
Sherman had a partnership with them. He made an account.
Oh
and
yeah,
they
there's
just
a
never
bunch of
used it.
people. Richard
Really?
Sherman. Richard Sherman once did like a post game analysis of one of his preseason.
Oh yeah, he did one string.
Vernon Davis. There's a bunch of people that partner with Sportscaster. Bob Costas Richard Sherman being the biggest one. Bob Costas being out there. I'll say this. So Sportscaster. So if I got into like the top 20 of the leaderboard, I had a few friends who were like, "Whoa, that's big." If I would get in like the monthly leaderboard of like Sportscaster, because back then it was money before COVID.
Yes. Mhm.
You won money. You won $1,000 if you were
If
first.
you were number
place for the
one,
month.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it
and
was
we-
$1,000 from Sportscaster, and then on top
Right.
of that, like Unwrapped Sports Network had this partnership, so you were getting maybe another
Paid.
$200 to $500 on there. So it's like a
Which
lot of
is-
incentive. Yeah.
So we were number one for most of the summer.
Of course, we
But
started
because
getting big on
of
sportscasters.
COVID-
They took the money away.
Once they took the money away,
That's how
right?
it works in life.
Right? Yeah, we missed out, but we got an internship, sportscaster internship through them. So they paid us $50 a month, which is not a ton of money, but it is a start. It is
For sure.
no
Any
$1,000 a month, but it is, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but TikTok really, I was introduced to a TikTok through my sister
It's
was.
TikTok, Michael. It's
Well, I knew what it
I was
was, but like,
introduced to TikTok.
okay, I didn't have TikTok until
I
like
found
my
this app. I was
sister
scrolling
had
the
an
app
account.
store. I found this little app.
It was number 1 of the charts, so it was pretty popular.
Right.
Let me ask this
My
because I
sister had
haven't
her
stopped
account.
thinking about this since you guys said it. Was Iron Eagle as just fantastic as a human being as he seems on
Yes.
television?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the best interview.
That was
we
the
had.
best interview we ever
That
did.
was the best.
That
Okay.
was we
That
had
was the
never-
longest
we
interview
never-
we ever did.
Yeah,
Really?
The longest
It was
interview
an
we ever did
hour.
like 30 minutes. His was an hour.
Wow.
Wow.
If we have a long interview, like Costas was about a half hour.
Okay.
Which was like pretty long.
It was the
Right.
most stressful half hour of my life.
Yeah, no, he was. You should have seen it.
I was doing laps around my house leading up to
Literally.
the interview, and I was in
Oh,
like, and
for sure.
I mean, as you know, I was in my tie. I was in my, as you see there, I was exactly what I was, and I had so many things going on. My computer had broke the night before,
Oh.
so that interview I
That
could
always
do
happens.
on my sister's computer. That was like the only stream I've ever done on like my sister's computer, and because we was like, wait, like a whole like emergency state, we needed to do it. We were like preparing. I was so nervous for it. It was insane. I don't think I've ever been nervous for that. Yeah, I mean, because Josh, you know, of course Josh was excited.
I was all kinds of hyped up.
Yeah, but I was excited and scared because I thought this was the biggest break I'm gonna get in the next at least 5 years until I get to college. I thought this
And of course, we
interview
gained.
was going to be the biggest break I ever had, and obviously now we have 39.7,000 TikTok followers.
39.
That's probably the biggest. Not 31, 31. 31 points.
By the time this interview comes out, it'll be 39.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the same once it hits a certain number.
That's true.
30 something. We have 30 something thousand followers. No, we have 30,000 something. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Doesn't it? We have a lot of my point is
It's crazy.
yeah, that's my point.
It's cool.
Well, so one question also too that I wanted to ask about TikTok is that you guys have seen, or you guys have not seen because it's the truth. You guys have created a very active community of fans.
Yeah,
Like
we
I
have.
feel like you guys
Oh,
have like I feel like I'm always see like people make accounts. Like I saw like I think one where it was like Josh's like left ear or something, and like or like burner accounts. People pretend to be you guys.
The Next Network has spoken.
Yes, exactly. So like
There's a Michael Mursky hate
Michael
page.
Mursky hate page.
Oh man.
what the heck?
I
I don't
think
want
that,
that,
no, but
all right.
there's thousands of people who have
Michael
said bad
Mursky
things
meme
about
is
me.
the legendary one, but that was pretty much.
Well, that was like a while ago, right? That was like my friend made the meme page. My friend from school, and then another friend of mine, from a friend of ours, one of the sportscasters people Josh was telling you about, from New York. He lives in New York. He also made. There were just people watching like the.
He's a
Knicks.
clone
It
of me.
wasn't
He's gonna blow up soon. I'm telling you right now.
Well, I feel like part of the rise to, a little bit of stardom, you're always going to, gain a
Yeah,
little hate
but-
because people are envious,
There's a
Well-
lot more hate towards me than Josh.
Hey, listen,
We can
baby, you
both-
do what you want when you popping, right?
I like it though. I
Michael
I
enjoys it.
enjoy it. I enjoy it. My God, I
Love to
remember
hear
one of
that.
the craziest things. One of the craziest things I remember on the Knicks that I've ever said, maybe, was I remember it was one of our first episodes, and Josh and Luke could not stop laughing for so long. I said I'd want to be an NFL ref because I
Yes!
like getting booed. I like hearing boos by the whole stadium. I would like to be. I would like it. And I remember Josh and Luke would not get off me for the next like 2
I booed him
weeks.
for a solid 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then he went on and right, and I remember that part. And what? And now we
Forgot about
have more followers than the biggest NBA stadium, capacity wise. So
oh
if
wow,
all our
that's
followers
what a way to
would,
phrase that.
Yeah, I know. That was Michael figured that out.
if
Like
all my
the United
followers
Center, the
would
United
boo,
Center is the biggest
United
NBA
Center.
arena, and we
Biggest
have
NBA arena.
enough followers to fill it.
That's
That's
quite the sales pitch
crazy.
right there.
Which,
That's crazy.
as crazy as that is, think about this: we have 30,000. Think about Charlie D'Amelio. Think about how many followers that really. Manny Mursky. Think about how many followers that is.
my brother's here now.
Manny
He-
Mursky's a legend.
This is an audio thing, right? So you
No,
guys
this is gonna be on YouTube as well.
Oh,
Yes!
it's on YouTube? Okay.
It's on TikTok. Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to leave.
So how do you guys handle the community? Like, obviously you embrace it, but how do you kind of connect with them outside of them just like making pages and
That to me was the shock.
Omegle.
We'll get to that in a second.
No, we need the Omega story now.
All right, it's not as crazy as you think. It's just that was just the way we talk to the fans. That's just
Okay, I got you.
But we connected with Josh had like an hour worth of people waiting for him, lining up.
That was the
talk.
moment of people really watch this.
Whoa, yeah.
Wow,
But people,
yeah.
I was on Omegle and Josh was too, and people would see me. You have you guys been on there?
Yes.
You use the tag.
I wasn't doing it for to gain
Talk with
professional
fans.
experience, but yes,
Right.
I've been on Omegle,
So
yes.
we'd record ourselves, we'd say we're going on Omegle right now, use the tag, the next network to find us. And so then, we'd skip the person, we'd get someone. Let's say we get
These random
9-year-old.
like, oh, I found you, and they get so excited.
9-year-old boy. And then, we see them, I smile, I say hi or something. And then their jaw just drops and they're like, whoa, and you're like, I'm not famous, am I? I guess I am. But people were just so excited
I'm not
to see
famous until I
me
go
and
out in
Josh.
public and someone recognizes me. That'll be the
Right,
moment where I'll say, okay, maybe I have some fame. Until I can go out in public and someone I don't know recognizes me, I will not.
Oh, but we can't really go out in public too often. I went
true.
skiing. I
That's
went
true.
skiing for the first time. A few days ago, and I didn't barely talk to anyone, so I didn't meet anyone that knows who I am. But I was just thinking,
on a different show.
What?
Josh Berman on a different show. So I was just
Berman's on a
thinking,
different
how
show,
many
it's true.
people do you think
That's
that were
true.
there? I was just in a random place, I just was just thinking at that place at that time as I was going up the ski lift. Does anybody there know me? Am I?
No, that
No.
never would have popped.
I don't think so.
I'd
It just popped into my head. I didn't really think about it and say anything.
yeah.
But it's just weird to think about because you never think about it before, right? It's only when you
Right.
gain, some
That's true.
fan base. But clearly, people are excited to see us.
Well, there's definitely
I think it's pretty cool.
you've definitely, and you probably haven't even realized it, and because I think about this too, right? For all the accounts that I have, and as obviously they aren't anywhere near your level, but I think I've definitely been in either a restaurant or a building or something, and someone follows one of my accounts.
Sure.
And I don't even
yeah.
realize it, right? So for
Right, you
you,
don't know.
it's 100% the truth. You've been sitting in a
Well-
restaurant and someone doesn't even realize that you're in there, and they definitely follow you and know who you are, but either they didn't say anything to
That's
you,
what I
or
want
they
when I
didn't
grow up.
realize.
I want someone. By the way, I've met a bunch of Ravens players. Josh has met a bunch of Ravens players.
I've only met him
Almost-
at games, though. I've never met one in public. Mychel has.
No, I
Really?
have maybe met at the actual game. I have met almost every single Ravens player I've met was on the street, was in public, was at a restaurant,
Yeah,
was
not the
at
opposite.
some cafe, was at just a place. I met, for example,
That's not true. I met Bozeman. The most important player
restaurant.
that I met was the one I met in public.
I could
Okay.
tell Orlando Brown and Mark Andrews. I met at a plaza. They were together. They were at Chipotle together.
They're just
Oh,
like us.
Boundary
Wow.
Row, that's where they all
Just
hang out.
like us.
Boundary Row, you had let's see who else. First off, I met Jonathan Ogden at a Ravens game, but I did not intend to meet Jonathan Ogden at a Ravens game. It was Ravens Steelers, and he was going up to one of the suites. We would be sitting in the club level seats, so he was just going up an elevator, right? And I was just walking around. We were just early to the game, which is very rare, by the way, that I'm early to a game.
Oh, I'm always there. I love
Josh is
watching
always there
them.
early. I always want to be there early, but never works out. I'm always there for kickoff, but I'm not. I might not even be there.
Now I got me sad. I miss that stadium so much.
Listen,
I might be outside for the anthems. To be honest, I might not even be there for the
So
anthems.
I
Go ahead.
I actually, the only other, so I'm from New York, so I've been to MetLife a ton of times. But
Right,
the only other football stadium that I've been to actually is M&T Bank Life. And
I've actually been there too, which is crazy.
I absolutely love that stadium
It's
because
a really underrated stadium.
it's so underrated because it's tucked away and it's not near anything.
And you know who said the same thing about how underratedly good it is? Underratedly. How good it is though?
Who?
Iron Eagle.
Really?
Iron Eagle
Ooh.
said
It's
it's
a
his
great
favorite
place to
place.
go.
You have
And
to
it's
walk
probably his favorite
through
place.
Camden Yards
Yeah.
to get to it. So
It
and,
depends.
like,
That's how we go, right? We park at like we would park at like a
I'm
hotel
sorry.
parking lot, and then we'd walk through like Camden Yards, and yes.
Well, I think I actually stayed at that hotel where you can like oversee
Hilton.
Camden Yards.
Hilton. Yeah, we park in the
yeah.
Hilton. Yeah, we park in the Hilton.
I
parking
parked
lot
in the
and we
Hilton
go
too.
Through
the one
we go
time.
and we go through
Yeah.
Camden Yards. That's what we usually
Small world.
That's
We
so
probably all
cool.
had the
We
same.
got
Were
parking
you
spots.
guys?
Might
Anything
have
you want
been.
to say?
Were you guys all at the games where the Jets got killed like 34-17?
That was a fun game.
Like 8 years ago.
Well,
not
we're
fun
season
for
ticket
me.
holders, both of us.
Yeah,
we're
we're
season
both
ticket
okay.
holders in different
Ooh,
places.
Okay.
In different places, but I've been to every home game in the last like 4 years that was possible to go to, except for
Right.
2. Josh,
And I've been to every home game that's possible for the last 6 years.
Ooh.
Wow.
for Josh, it's
So,
even more.
Do you guys meet up at home games?
No,
Really?
because we've only been to, where we really knew each other. We've only been at one game where we
Yeah.
really knew each other, and that was this year. That was Ravens Steelers. Was the only game that allowed fans to. Can you excuse me for a second? I'll be in
Yeah.
like 2 minutes.
Please do not turn your camera off.
I'm turning my camera off.
It's all right. That's actually better to look at.
What you two have to do is, have you ever seen Arsenal Fan TV? Do you know
I'm
what
not
that
a
is?
soccer guy.
Okay,
that's not-
so
Michael
that's
is.
you're not
I'm
a soccer fan, you're not going to know about Mychel Thompson. So basically what it is it's these guys, and granted they're grown men, so it's maybe a little bit of a different situation, but after Arsenal loses in like a heartbreaking loss, they stand outside of the stadium and they interview people and they're like what did you think about that? And it's just like these like people who are like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and the videos go viral. So I think for you two, that might be the next
See,
step
I'm the
for
guy
this.
that gets interviewed and screams into the
you're-
camera about how pathetic it was.
But if you're both at this Ravens game, I'm thinking you set up with microphones outside the stadium either before or after the
I'm
game.
not bringing this to M&T Bank. I'm not bringing this to downtown
You just
Baltimore.
need a phone. You just need a phone.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
you're
say,
like,
there's other
hey,
ways
like,
to-
Imagine me holding this in downtown Baltimore,
Hey, I've interviewed
top
Joe
5
Johnson,
crime city in the
Franklin
country,
Sessions.
and no.
I've done it
That's
all
true.
on this guy right here. I didn't know I was gonna be interviewing people. You just pull up and you're like, well, I'll just use the voice memos.
Yeah.
That's true. Is that how you did it? You did it with voice memos?
Yeah, because I didn't know that we'd get access
not a
to
bad
speaking
idea.
with the player. So I was just like, oh,
That's smart. I couldn't
guess
figure it
gotta
out.
take advantage.
Yeah.
Michael, hold on. This is actually not a bad idea. Did you hear what he says? Not a bad idea.
No, sorry. Say that again one more time.
So he said you're a soccer guy, Michael. So are you familiar with Arsenal Fan TV?
I didn't say he's a soccer guy for the record. I say he just
Oh.
knows more
Well,
than I do.
Oh,
I-
okay.
am the soccer guy in the Knicks, but that's
It's
by
not
default.
it's not something
because
that I expect you know what I mean to know. It's a sort of an
I know
obscure thing,
players.
but basically
I know.
basically
I watch soccer. Yeah, go ahead.
Gotcha. So basically what it is it's this very popular YouTube channel where they sit outside Arsenal games and like after the Arsenal usually loses, they like interview fans like immediately outside the stadium. Like, what do you think about that? And it's just all these like angry British guys yelling into the camera and it gets like
Arsenal
viral.
fans are,
So I'm saying if you two are both at these Ravens games, if you're at every home game, you know, and you already clearly have interviewing experience and, you know, growing notoriety, I'm thinking maybe do you sit
Yes,
outside M&T Bank and you're like, what do you think about, you know, Lamar Jackson or this
It's
or
really
that?
not
What are
a
your
bad
thoughts?
idea.
and it's not a bad idea, but I prefer to sit inside M&T Bank.
Well, you mean
in the
after
booth,
the
in the
game?
booth.
Yeah, I
He's saying long term. He's like, I'd prefer to be in the booth calling the game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay,
my brother
okay.
just handed me this. I am sorry. I, for some reason, was left
Minnie
alone
Mursky has
at home
interrupted.
with him.
How many
It's only me and
broadcasts?
him right now. It's only me and him right now.
He's trying to be a part of the next
At home.
network. He's gonna
Oh,
be the
he
next
is.
net.
Oh, he is.
Next,
He is.
next
He
network.
is. You know how I said like I get a lot of hate. Like I'm not liked by too many people. He probably has.
He's the most loved member
He's
of the next
the
network. Minnie Mursky.
Not
He's
me. They don't
the
hate me. They
most
just hate him.
loved member of the next. He can
Oh.
just. Every time he comes on, people just smile.
The
He's
chat
electric.
goes wild.
He's electric.
We
He
can
is.
relate to those people.
Yeah.
He comes
But
in.
It's
We have
only
a thing on the kickoff show. We have a kickoff show every Sunday, and we go through like our picks.
Oh yeah.
And Mychel half of
Talking
the
about
season
you.
did a thing where like he has like these effects, and it's like Josh, and I have a lock of the week, an episode of the week.
Josh
I had like a
Berman's
thing, it's
lock
like
of the
Josh Berman's lock of the week, and his
Josh
brother
Berman.
was clearly with him when he was making this recording, because every time for
Yeah.
a solid month, every time he came
He
on, when we're doing
still
it,
does.
he always comes on the microphone and goes, Josh Berman's lock of the week.
He still does. Every time I say your name, every time I say your name or if I call you, he just goes, Josh Berman's lock of the week.
That's awesome. That's so cool, though.
What,
That's
you
so
want to say it?
There it is.
And then he also, but my brother, he's a football fan. He knows all the teams. Sometimes he purposely likes to mix them up. Like he says Seattle Bills when he knows full well who plays in Seattle and who where
He's
the
got a
Bills-
head start on me then. I wasn't
He's
into top
laughing
10.
right- He knows all 50 states. He's flexible
Okay.
on you now. Well, he's known them now for like a year, right? You know, come
What?
here. You're like laughing. You might as well just come on.
Time out. What?
He knows the state. I know the states by his age. He's 5 years old. I knew the capitals.
You're
at
saying that
6.
like that's not an impressive
No,
thing.
it's no. I mean, it was impressive, I guess, but no, I knew all the capitals and states by 6. So if he could do that, then I'm impressed. No, I'm kidding.
Let's talk about the network
Okay.
real quick, because
Yes, we should do that because
Enough mini Mersky talk.
ahead,
as
Sash,
much of a
you're gonna
budding
get to go
star as he is,
20 minutes.
I want to know the,
Go.
I guess, like the future of the next network. Like what's kind of the plan? You know, obviously you guys are doing well and you don't stop a product that's doing well, but what do you guys envision like long term, even maybe a year down the road with the network?
I've got absolutely no idea.
Honest.
What
That's
did he
fair.
say?
Honest
What'd he say?
What's the
answer.
future
Michael's
for
like,
us?
don't speak for me.
No. What did Josh say? I heard
What's the
question.
future of us looking
He's got
like?
no idea what where the
Right.
next
So I
network is
want.
going.
What did Josh say? I heard the question.
My
Josh said, I have no idea.
Oh well, you don't know. We're gonna keep making TikToks. We're gonna keep going live,
yeah.
and we're
I'll put it
gonna
this way.
hope
We're
we get
gonna
more
keep doing what we're
followers.
doing unless if we see something that could be different. Like
Unless
If
get
it
a
ain't
job
broke, don't
offer.
fix it, right?
we don't plan on changing anything. I'll put it that
Okay.
way.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, unless I get like a job offer to be professional sportscaster. Well, it depends where. You know, maybe I'm.
You would turn down
You
a
think-
job offer to be a professional sports broadcaster?
I don't know. I don't know. I
You could be
don't
the
know.
youngest
I
ever.
haven't thought
That's
about
what
it.
I mean.
I'm not-
I'm making
if I'm like,
TikToks, Will.
If we'd like to bring you on to be the San Diego Padres announcer, you're like,
I
I'm
follow him on
good.
Instagram.
I'll hold out for Seattle.
Well, I follow him on Instagram. He's
Tatis's
young,
deal
so
was
he's not
too big.
retiring. I can tell you right. The Padres announcer. I follow him on Instagram. He's not retiring anytime soon.
I like how you
Okay.
knew who it was.
Yeah, I follow my whole Instagram story feed. It's usually either friends of mine from school or like professional sportscasters. What are you?
Okay, so
So
you don't
yeah,
you
go ahead,
the
Anthony.
direction of the network. Let's talk about the content for the network currently.
Same thing.
I'm- I'm
Okay.
guessing that one of you guys are the football guys and one of you guys are the basketball guys. I'm assuming
No.
both of you guys are probably
No.
the football guys.
We're both.
We're,
a
we're
football
both
fan.
football guy. I know
I'm-
more basketball than he does, but
Yes,
Okay.
that's true.
I gotta disagree with that though, Michael. Michael, you're doing pretty good with those all-time teams.
That was the
Hakeem
one that had a
Olajuwon
lot of.
is a moment you guys don't even know about.
But hold on. In my defense, Josh, I can you stop hitting your head against my head? Thank you. I had that one time on the ow. I had that one time on the ow on the video I did. I had Hakeem as my first player. I just said, I'll take the dream. I'll take Hakeem.
How is it not hurting him?
I don't know. I was not hurting him.
Okay, so
Okay.
But
Fir-
I
first-
can tell you this. Stop, actually.
Dr. Black of the Week.
No, but I'll tell you. I'm so
You're
sorry.
getting the real the next experience. Here.
I
Nah,
am
you're
sorry
good. Listen, this is
about
why we have you guys on, bro. This is
Okay.
why you have, you know what I mean?
we
This
need
is
the
brand.
we don't need like, you know, the face, the professional face. We need the candid
that's what I
moment.
think people are attracted to is
Mhm.
that now Mychel does, but with me in particular, I don't have a professional face. I'm just Josh, and people seem to like it. Like I don't
Right.
like these people that are
What's Josh's picture with his camera off look like?
I don't know. Do I even have anything? No, it's
Nope.
just Josh Berman.
Exactly. I'm gonna go over here, have my whole suit and tie. and
Michael,
have
I would
my-
argue mine's more professional than that.
my teachers make fun of me.
I would too.
Sometimes. Well, you do. Well, I mean, my teacher make fun of me anyway. In school.
Well, let me ask this. Let me do
laughing
this.
stock of my.
You definitely not. I just flex a TikTok account on. Nobody's gonna be laughing at you. But so we are a Big 3 podcast. So let's talk a little Big 3. So I know. So Josh and Michael, you guys said you are very honestly casual fans, but you know what I mean, you probably aren't as into it as probably Anthony and I are, which I would say that's probably most people right now who watch the Big Three. I guess when you guys have watched it, what are your initial impressions of it? You know, what do you enjoy watching of it? What do you think maybe can be improved upon? You know, what do you think?
I'll say this. I mean, clearly they're doing something right. When was this founded? When was this like
2017.
2017. And it's already an Olympic sport.
Right.
Technically.
Yeah.
Like clearly they're doing something right.
It's a
But the concept of it, I think, is great. I love the 4-point line thing. I think that's really interesting. I think that is something that like I've always had my eye on. Like,
I have an opinion on the Big Three. My opinion on the Big Three is that the Big Three is cool, but I don't think the NBA should implement anything that the Big Three does.
I can respect
into
that.
their game.
Sure.
I think the Big Three is the Big Three, and I like the Big Three. And I think what the Big Three does works for the Big Three and works for people. It's entertaining. But I think the NBA and the Big Three should be separated. I think the NBA should have the NBA rules, and the Big Three should have Big Three rules. No knock against the Big Three.
Right. No, I agree with you.
Right. Yeah.
So
I don't even disagree. I was just thinking. It's just one of those things I've always thought about.
Right.
Actually, now I do not disagree. I totally agree.
What about like guys though, right? So, you know, Joe Johnson, obviously he was the biggest acquisition of 2019. You know, ISO Joe, he's our guy. He's probably going to end up listening to this. So
really? He's been on here.
We've spoke to ISO Joe. I had the opportunity to meet him in person, and he's a big fan of this podcast and our accounts. So
ISO Joe. hey, come on our show.
Whoa!
Official invite right here.
Wait a minute.
That's called taking advantage of an opportunity.
Wow, that's crazy. You completely just
don't learn that at play-by-play school.
Yeah.
I didn't even go there. I was in.
What about you know, we're coming to 2021. We skipped 2020. The 2020 season didn't happen for obvious reasons because of COVID. So we know that they're looking to make a big splash. Who is going to be, in your guys' opinions, who are some guys that you would love to see join the Big Three this summer? These could be guys who may be retired.
Is this realistic or is this like dream?
Well, I mean, if you want to give me one of both, I think that would be cool because we always love, you know, the dream guys are always fun, but the realistic guys, I think, you know,
they have to be like retired guys.
Yeah, we were talking retired guys. We're talking guys maybe like, you know, D Wade. There you go. We're big on D Wade as well.
Hi.
Mini Mursky, I got a question. Okay, you're not going to answer it. No, he's telling Mychel that he has a question. Okay. And anybody in the NBA.
So sorry, guys. I so sorry. My brother is going insane. I can't even hear you guys right now. He took my headset. I hope you can hear me.
Mini Mursky, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I told him that if he stops bothering me, he can go. So go, take the headset if you want to do it. I'll let you. Hey, how about this? Take my phone. But give me the headset back. It's one or the other, or both. And my lights out because you just stepped on the table.
D Wade's my answer, by the way.
Okay.
I think D Wade's a good
question?
one.
Can you
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, yeah, we actually
so fire. Yes.
Can you repeat the question?
Just some guys you would love to see join the Big Three.
Realistically, or a dream.
Oh, okay.
Be guys that were retired. They could be college seniors.
We got D Wade. We got Ray Allen.
I mean, he's still playing in the NBA, but think about it.
D Wade.
Like he's still playing, so he's obviously not doing it. But think about a guy like Kyrie Irving in a league like this.
I know, right? How
that would be
or even like a James Harden in this type of league.
Yeah.
Where like that type of style with those types of players.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Right.
Josh Berman, could you talk to me?
Who's not listening to you?
Why my phone
I can't hear a word he's saying.
Good. I'm glad. Here, yeah, fine. If you give me the control, I gotta make some deal with him because it's only me and him right now. My dad's outside right now. He's trying to shovel snow, but.
Yay, they can hear me. Josh Berman, I have a TikTok account.
This is legendary. I ask, please don't edit this out. This needs to be in here.
No, you good. That's so funny.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, so listen. I mean,
Last thing, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit NBA. Let's just ask the general broad question: what has been the most entertaining team or storyline that you guys have followed? And I'll
The
chat with
Jazz
Michael.
are so fun to watch.
the
They are-
Jazz. Yeah.
The Jazz
Jazz
have been
been
really
great.
fun.
Yeah.
They're muted.
My favorite player in the NBA is Donovan Mitchell.
Really.
Yeah, I just love the way he plays.
It always has been, yeah. He's always
Yeah, it has been. And so I do definitely enjoy watching Utah.
Okay,
Um,
they've been out of this world good.
They've been killing
Crazy.
it. They've been killing it.
they have been.
They're the biggest threat to the Lakers in the West.
You think so?
Me and Josh disagreed on that. Give me the headset.
What about like? So what do you
I
think of
won't
the
help you
Jazz?
with
Right.
Lego Marvel or anything else, or your Roblox. I don't even know how Roblox works, but I try to help you with it. Do I still help you with it?
You don't have to help yourself.
What do I do for you? What do I
You
provide
could
you
just
with?
play with me with Lego Marvel.
I am not going to play with you, Lego
help
Marvel, unless you give me the headset.
That's not fair.
It is very fair.
Making deals over here.
I already gave you my phone. You're taking everything from me. You're taking my. You're
Told
taking
you.
my
This is the
spotlight.
authentic, the next
He
experience.
took
right
the
here.
spotlight. Now he's taking my earbuds after just taking my other piece of
Yeah,
equipment,
yeah.
throwing my head.
Sorry about this.
No, you guys are good. I mean, I think. Listen, I think we're good, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. So listen. So let me just say,
So he's out of
I-
control right now.
You're good. You're good. Josh, Michael, I appreciate you guys coming on. You guys can follow them. What is it? TikTok is the main one, but is there anything where else they can find you?
Twitch.
Okay.
Twitch.
The next network. Yep. So you guys want to find these? I mean, listen,
Next underscore network is.
we're looking at the next, the next Bob Costas's, the next, Mike
Iron
Breen's,
Eagles.
the next
Yeah.
Iron Eagles right here.
Hope
And so
so,
I
yeah.
really feel like, you guys got to get in on these guys early, because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to watch them commentate a World Series, a Super Bowl, an NBA Finals. You're going to be like, I remember watching them on Twitch. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming on again.
Yes,
I hope
appreciate
that
it.
we can do this again sometimes, and I wish you guys the best of luck moving forward.
Absolutely. This is a ton of
Thank
fun.
you. It's been very
you.
fun.
All right, guys. So we appreciate everybody who listened to that full interview. We hope that you guys had as much fun listening to that as we had recording it. If you're listening to this on audio, I encourage everybody to go watch it on YouTube. I think it gives a lot more context to everything that was going on, and there's definitely a ton of funny stuff that happened that just didn't really work from an audio standpoint. So we probably had to cut it. So we appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Everybody listening on YouTube, thank you. Please make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much, everybody. We will see you next episode.